All right. Hi, I'm Kathy Forste, music director at Café Radio. Today, I'm chatting with David Petry, who is the leader of a band called Great Get Gone, and they have a new album out called Rescue Me, which is really wonderful, and we've been playing it a lot here on Café Radio. Thank you so much, David, for joining us today on Café Radio.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really nice.
Yeah.
A lot of your interviews. I really like what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I like what you do too, as well. First question I have for you is, tell me about the name, The Great Get Gone. What is that, and where did it come from?
Well, interestingly, it started with the song "Get Gone," which is on the. We have it on "My Little Hometown" as an upbeat rocker, and we have it on "Rescue Me" as a big, slow, fat. We call it "Get Gone Crazy Horse." And that song started because I was working in corporate America. I worked for a company called Citrix. They took a piece of the company and set it aside to sell, and they called it Get Go. And I hated my job. So I walked out at lunch one day and I wrote the song Get Gone. I wanted it out so bad. But then, when you write a song, you universalize it. And so for me, the Get Gone was really about relationships and about when I was younger, especially, but men in general, or people in general, a lot of times go into a relationship and they're already gone, right? Mm-hmm. And so they are so scared of being in a relationship, they have all their exit strategies in place. And my response, so that was my song, and this song just like opened up for me. It became a fairly important song to me. The Great Get Gone came along because then I'm looking for a name for the project, and didn't really want to use my name for the same reason that Petry, people don't pronounce it well. There's not a lot of examples out in the world of Petrys yet, although there's one college football this year, and there's one professional football this year. But, so I didn't want to use my name. And so I was thinking about what name to use, and I tried many. I came across The Great Get Gone, and the model for that or the idea for that is just all these people who are building spaceships to get off the planet as if we're going to leave a trash heap behind and just we're going to go someplace else. And so just that thought, that we got to burn things and leave them behind. I just don't like that. So.
Right. Yeah. I was taking a survey on the internet today, and it was talking about traveling to outer space, and it's like, why would I want to travel to outer space? There's so much more to see here on Earth, and to I don't know, to learn here on Earth. And it just got me thinking about why would I want to go to outer space? And there was like, the questions were like, is it because of cost or fear? And I'm like, those are not the two reasons I don't want to go.
About irrelevancy.
Yeah. So yeah, I completely get that. So the thing I love about this album too is that your producer on this album was Dean Denning from Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah.
Who I adore. Toad the Wet Sprocket. I always have. Yeah. And I just wondering, how did you meet up with him and get involved with working with him?
So this project has been for me just a sequence of small miracles or large miracles. I'm not sure. I went into a studio. Zach Madden has a studio in Goleta, California, called Goodland Studio. It's literally a 2-car garage that's been modified. It's in the back of an industrial building. It looks like, from the outside, it looks like nothing. There's no signs, just there's Zach. And I went in, and he had Teddy Jack in there when I first went in, who's Leon Russell's son. And we did the first song on Rescue Me, which was, the name is slipping my mind right now. Pull up the record. But anyway, I'm Not the One for You, the first song. And Teddy Jack was there, and we did that song, and it came out great. But then Teddy Jack and Zach had other stuff to work on. I left because I ran out of money. And literally a week later, a friend passed. Well, he didn't pass a week later, but I got a check from a friend a week later who had passed. Substantial. And so I went back. In that session with Teddy Jack, we did this song, and it was 1,000 times better than I thought it would be. I was going in to do a CD for friends and family. And Teddy Jack, that first song has this incredible lead out of the end of it, this incredible Dickie Betts kind of, I don't know, it's like 24 bars of just him going crazy. That's Teddy Jack's on that. He's playing the drums on it, playing the bass. That whole song is his vitality, and it just blew my mind, that could happen. And so I go back, and now Teddy Jack's not there, but Dean is there. And so Dean and Zach have had this long relationship. Luckily, I've capitalized on that, where we got bass tracks from Dean today for the next album. And so Zach has been like kind of the pin for me. That he's just been the center of it. And he's got Dean in there. He's got a great group of people to work with, and he really helped me with my singing, for instance. It was a really good relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. They're incredibly talented people.
So, yeah, I
Yeah.
got so lucky. I'm just so lucky with this.
Yeah. Yeah. So who are the members? Who do you consider the band members, and what are all their roles in the group?
So the band started in 2017, and we got our first EP out in 2019, and we got it out roughly the month that my mother went into hospice. We're also producing Lois Mahalia's records, and so her EP came out the same year, and also had a novel come out the same year. So we had a novel, two CDs come out, and my mom in hospice.
Mm.
So my mother passed the very end of 2019. And then we started talking about getting a band together, et cetera. And then COVID.
Yeah.
So essentially the band is a studio band. And the core of it is Zach, myself, Dean Denning, and Lois Mahalia. That's the core of it. And then we bring in musicians for all the party tricks.
Yeah, different roles.
Yeah.
So how would you say that this album is different from the other three with those people involved? Or the other two? I guess you've done two others, right?
Yeah. The first record was an EP that was out of this project with Zach and Dean and I mainly, and Lois coming in to do it. And then Tom Flowers is a local producer, and he started working on some of the songs for both me and Lois. And Tom Flowers works with Steve Perry. Mm-hmm. So the second record, I went over and worked with Tom. And most of the songs we'd worked on with Dean and Zach, we developed the songs with Dean and Zach. And then I started working with Tom, and Tom and I wanted a more combo sound, less of a big band sound. I'm not sure why, but that's what we headed for at that time. And so my little hometown is a more combo feel. Tom Flowers really was the producer and really pulled the band together on that. Dan Kalisher, great guitar player out of LA. Dean on bass, Austin Beat on drums. I mean, just great musicians. Mm-hmm. And so that record is more sedate, let's say. It's not sedate, but it's a little more sedate than the first and third record. The third record, Rescue Me, I did because we had from Tom, we transitioned these songs to a combo sound. Then we had all these songs still sitting on the cutting room floor, either pre-Tom or other songs that we just hadn't put on that record. And so I thought during COVID, while nobody could get together, we would just pull those back out and just bring them up in production quality. And that's what Rescue Me is. I don't think we did any new songs for Rescue Me.
Oh, okay.
Very little new stuff. We added the sax solo on End of the Road. We added a few things, but not much. And so that record was just really the second record. It was supposed to be the second record, but it got popped to the third. And now we're doing another combo record, and it's Dean, Zach, me, a fellow named Rob Taylor on guitar, and Lois.
Mm-hmm. And it's so now that COVID is mostly subsided, are you able to get out and perform, or do you perform at all? Is that something you try to do to promote the album?
Not yet. So my wife teaches, and so she does a COVID test every day still. And I've been COVID testing. But what we're going to do is on my next record, Westerlies, is going to be out in the beginning of next year sometime. And so we're going to put a band together to release that record. Mm-hmm. And also Rescue Me, we're going to add 3 songs and do an LP of it. So,
good.
Yeah. So the thing about Rescue Me, this artwork that I have, artwork on the walls back here, is by a good friend of mine named Targo. So that one, which arm? That picture right there is the cover of my 4th album, Westerlies.
Okay, cool.
But I asked him to do pictures of the song Rescue Me. And in 4 days, he did like 20 incredible drawings. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. And we're going to put these in a book, big color book in the in the LP. So this is one of them,
Oh, cool.
Cowboy and His Dog.
Uh-huh.
You get that flat. I'm not very good with spatial stuff.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah, that looks
And
great.
then like this one's, there's a line in there. He's my superpower. So this is the dog up here on the shoulder as my superpower. It's these big, huge, incredible drawings, and we got 20 of them or whatever. It tells the whole story of the song. So we're gonna put that in a book and then put it in a record or an LP.
That's neat. Yeah, it's amazing the new ways people are coming up with promoting their songs and stuff like books and things. I know I've heard a couple of artists. We actually had an artist who did wrote a novel, and he put an album out with the novel, and so like each chapter went with one of the songs in the or what each chapter went with a song. So it was kind of neat. So
That's
yeah,
a good
those
idea.
are those are great ideas for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this a moment ago, the song, is it Someone in This Town or Somewhere in This Town? I can't remember.
Someone in This Town.
Someone in This Town. Yeah. There's a really cool video to that on your website.
Yeah.
Are you a train enthusiast, or was that, because what it is it's
Yeah.
this really elaborate train setup that, and it's like these different shots of people in this train setup that, and the train going around and stuff. It's really cool. I
Yeah.
really like the idea for that. Is that something that you came up with?
I wrote a history. I started my career as a writer, technical writer. Spent 50 years at it, and it never pays enough. Being a writer never pays enough in corporate America for anything. So you're just kind of always under the financial line. So I always had second or third jobs. And one of those things that I did was I was a historian for like 30 years. And one of the histories I wrote was on the history of a company called Puritan Ice in Santa Barbara. And they had, they transformed the whole Central Coast here by bringing in vegetables and all sorts of stuff. But in the course of that, I went up and met Ken Kelly, fellow who has that train collection. And we wanted to just, I met him over the Puritan Ice piece. And then we went back and I remembered it, and I just wanted to go back and capture that. I love them. It's beautiful. I'm not a train guy, but I really love that.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I love looking at that kind of stuff, but I can never do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't have the patience for that. So I want to ask you about a couple of the tunes on the album, that Rescue Me. The one of them that I enjoy a lot is the song Misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about that song and what that came from?
Yeah. So Misunderstanding is I think me singing about all my experiences as a younger person dating. So it's kind of like, I think of it as, and actually the video I would like to do for this someday is of a square dance and somebody going from partner to partner. And that's kind of what it felt like for me. Is just like I was, for whatever reason, completely innocent about what intimacy was, or love was, or anything. I was just there to deal with my own needs, right? So I was in and out of all these relationships, and my sense of being in these relationships was of being mystified. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm in and out. I don't know who these people are. And so you get these impressions of these people as you go through. And so that's what that story is about. And then really it was this incredible, wordplay that started to come up out of these words, especially miss. And actually, and to give it its true root, I one of the things that I do as a songwriter is I have, if I remember somebody else's song that I really like, I'll try not to listen to it, let's say for 5 years. So Graham Parker has a song called Misunderstanding. And it's the same kind of play on words, little misunderstanding. And I hadn't listened to it in many years. And then I just remembered that play on words and took it. Very different song, very different approach, but yeah.
Yeah. So as a songwriter, do you write every day? Is this something that you set up like a time every day to sit and write? I know a lot of songwriters will like set aside every morning and sit and write. Do you do that, or?
No, I've been a writer my whole life. and not songs. I wrote songs when I was 13, 14 for my brother's band, but I haven't written songs then until like 20 years ago. And now I feel like the everyday thing is like a managing a faucet, I guess. I don't know. And I don't feel like I want my songs to be out of a faucet. So what I do is I'll write songs. If they come to me, I'll jot down a few words, but that's it. And I'll usually just they sit in my journals, and then I burn the journals after a couple of years. But what really sticks with me is like if something's going on in my life and there's one of those things that like hits the bone.
Mm.
And at that point, then I go, oh, there's a song here. Like something disturbing, troubling, strange, a turn of phrase that's really interesting, that for me connects with my trajectory, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I guess the thing I could say about songwriting for me is that I look at it as a step in my therapy.
Mm.
And I say therapy somewhat lightly. I was born into a family with, my dad was a physician. He was a narcissistic psychopath, sociopath. Maybe that's nice terms for him. He was just a real control freak.
Mm.
The first time he ever told me anything positive about him and I as our relationship was when I was in high school. It's also the last time he told me anything positive about our relationship. So my whole life I had this like I don't belong thing.
Yeah.
And I started my self-therapy when I was 13, reading Castaneda, reading Paramahansa Yogananda, doing yoga. And from there, I did all sorts of things, risk-taking, est, my public speaking, just anything I could do to break out of myself, improv, being on boards, just anything. And along came music when I was 45 or so. And that began to transform into something where I could have so my sickness was I always had to be productive and impress people, right? But with music, you can't. It takes so long to learn music, to be good at it.
Yeah.
And so I go to these jam sessions and I would just suck. I mean, I have many friends here that know how bad I was, and I just sucked. I was bad. I was nervous. I was scared. I'd play my songs. It was very hard for me. And then over time, you get better. I walked into a brewery one night, and someone was playing one of my songs.
Really?
So they'd taken the tab from the jam group and learned the song, and 4 or 5 people were playing my song.
Wow.
And I was like, the first 5 seconds, I was mad. Who's playing my song? And then I'm like, this is a huge compliment.
Yeah, it's
and so
very
by
flattering.
next week, I walked into a different brewery, and there was somebody else, a different person, playing a different one of my songs. I was like, I should go to a recording studio. And that's when I went to Zach. At that point. But this therapy process has been me looking for a way to feel comfortable on earth. And the music thing has been huge, just huge,
Yeah, I totally get that. I use music a lot as therapy too, to get out my frustrations or sadnesses, for sure. I'm not a songwriter that can write just love songs. I'm not that kind of writer. I have to write about something going on inside me, or it comes from a place inside me. So I get that. Do you write on the guitar? What instrument is your instrument of choice? Yeah. All right. What kind of guitar do you have?
I have a 1945 Martin that I love.
Nice.
That's the main one I use. My brother started playing guitar when I was about 13. I guess he was 13. I was maybe 10. And he was really, really good, like massively good. He passed away about 1.5 years ago. But he was really good. So now I have some of his guitars. I have a Paul Reed Smith electric that I got rid of my electric that I had, and a Godin nylon. Got a resonator now. It's just a few guitars that are built out the collection with, but
yeah, that's nice. Yeah, one of the guitars back there is my brother's guitar too. So
yeah,
I inherited when he passed away. So
yeah.
But yeah, Martin, for me, my favorite guitar that I play, I don't take it out and play it when I do gigs anymore, is my Martin. but every album I've recorded, that's what I've used on those albums. So yeah, they're
Yeah.
special guitars. Let me ask you about another song on the album that you kind of touched on a little bit earlier. The I'm the One for You. Can you tell me about that one?
That was an early song. It was just pure Roadhouse for me. I just came up with a trying to think what the song was. There was a song by Material. It's a Bill Laswell band. One of their very first records was I think it's called I'm the One, and it's a loud funk. It's a very fun funk album. Whitney Houston's first song is on that album, by the way. But anyway, it's just a big fun song, and I just wanted to, have a big fun song. So that was I'm the One.
It is a big fun song.
And when we recorded it, well, I only had Teddy Jack for 2 days, and I would say 90% of that song went down in 2 days. And then we added Lois, percussion. We changed out the middle guitar lead. Rob Taylor plays that. And then we added Dean on bass instead of Teddy on bass, I think.
Yeah. And she does a really nice backing vocal part on that. I love her voice on that. Yeah. Great job. So if someone were to ask you to describe your sound, what would you say to them? How would you describe your sound? It's a hard question for you.
Yeah. I think the thing that I was shooting for the first record and the third record, the bands that I was thinking of were like Asleep at the Wheel, like big bands, like Little Feat, bands that have a big presence and just can communicate whatever. I was also writing at that time to large structures. So like, if it were fashion, I would be designing big t-shirts or something, just, blank, here's a big fat thing that almost anybody can play, fast, slow, country, rock, blues, right? I didn't really think about what I wanted the song structure to be. It was more like, here's the lyrics, here's the energy, let's see what happens in the studio. It tended to go towards country because, of course, you can say things in country music that you can't say in other forms generally. They just come across better. They seem more intimate and more meaningful in country. And so a lot of stuff went country. Some of the stuff obviously went blues, but it was more like just, I didn't write for an original shape or form, right? I wrote for existing shapes and forms by big bands in the past. And then luckily somebody like Dean could come in and just go like, I love this. I can play this.
Yeah.
And make something of this, right?
Yeah.
So the sound, I guess, is, was intentionally kind of a big, fun dance band kind of thing. The middle record was intended to just be kind of a combo approach to that. The new record is much more combo again, but I'm designing the songs finally, learning how to produce. Zach and I are working together out, 3 or 4 times a week on this and really bringing it together. It's coming together really nicely.
So is the new album going to be recorded in a studio, or are you working mostly from home, or how are you doing it?
In the studio, but it's just Zach and I mostly. Rob Taylor, Zach and I laid down all the original tracks. So Rob Taylor's the guitarist and lead of a group called Café. And so the three of us would, in the past, we'd gone in and I would lay down a scratch, guitar and vocal, and then we'd build from there. But this time what we did is we got Zach on the drums, Rob on bass, and me on guitar and vocal, and we play for a while and get the song where we wanted it. And then we take the drums and comp those, and then we play new guitar over that, new bass over that. And so that really helps because figuring out what the rhythm is going to be is huge, right? Especially for a song that doesn't have an obvious place to go. So kind of getting the tempo, the rhythm, the drumming right is really critical. And then the rest of the stuff has come on and landed on top really nicely all the way through.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I know a lot of artists, they do the bass and they get the bass and the drums first, and then they layer on top of that. So I know my albums, we tend to do it backwards as well. So, you
What do you
kind of
mean by
figure out,
backwards?
well, you kind of figure out the rhythm. I figure out the rhythm with the guitar and stuff, and then you add the drums after that. And
Okay,
so,
yeah.
yeah. So,
So
but
you play to a click then, or a
yeah, usually I play
yeah?
to a click. Yeah. Which I hate. I hate clicks.
I like making the drummer play to a click.
Yeah.
I don't like
So
clicks.
I don't either. I don't like playing to a click, but it helps with your rhythm. Well,
Yeah.
do you have any other big plans for the next year? What do you got coming up other than the new album? Is that when you plan for
So
that to be out?
it's Lois's new record, which I wrote most all the songs on. Lois, myself, Zach wrote all the songs on. I wrote the most of the lyrics. That comes out after the beginning of the year, and Steve Perry is singing backing vocals on it.
Oh my
So we're
God.
putting some, yeah. So we're putting some eggs in that basket. And
Yeah.
also, Lois just appeared in David O. Russell's Amsterdam, the movie, singing a fado, a Portuguese song. So she's like, you know,
Taken off.
I'm
Yeah.
64 years. I'm 64 years old. My career is like whatever it's going to be. I don't care.
All right.
But she's got it ahead of her, and she's such a great singer. I mean, she's the greatest gift I could imagine for my career. Just like, wow, what
Mm-hmm.
a singer, what a professional, what an amazing heart, just an amazing person.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
been
that's
a huge
awesome.
gift.
And it
Yeah,
sounds like I mean, Steve Perry doesn't do much, so to have him working on your music is
yeah,
incredible. So,
yeah, yeah.
congratulations
So
on that.
Tom Flowers is producing her record, and Steve Perry would come in and hear her songs, and just say, "Can I sing on that?"
Nah.
Yes, I'll be okay. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that's awesome.
So he's singing backing vocals, I think, on 4 songs. It's yeah.
I can't wait to hear
So
that.
yeah.
That should be
So that's the
really
main thing
great.
I think for the next year. I have a record coming out, and we have Rescue Me coming out on LP, and we have Lois's new record coming out, Chasing the Sun. And so we're looking forward to that. Two of the songs from Lois are all out as singles, and the Gravity and Love single, you can hear Steve on it already. So out on Spotify.
Oh, nice. Well, go check that out, people. What was her name again? Give everybody her name so
Lois
they
Mahalia.
Mahalia, Lois Mahalia. Well, thank you
Her
so much,
first
David.
record.
Oh, there she is.
Uh,
There you go.
yeah, it's
Great.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today and talking about Rescue Me, which is a great album by the Great Get Gone. And David Petry is the leader of the group and the songwriter, and it's great music. And we got more stuff coming out next year from you, so that'll be wonderful to hear as well. Anything else you need to add, or you want to plug, or
I think I'm happy. This is a great interview. Thank you.
okay? Well, good. Well, I let everybody know your website is thegreatgetgone.com, correct? And
Yeah.
you can go. You have anything up on YouTube or places like
Yeah,
that?
you mentioned the someone in this town video. The other video that I think is great is our Get Gone video. David Hoffman is a independent filmmaker who in 1964 did his first video in the Appalachians, following this guy around, going to all the local music stuff. And for the song Get Gone, I was looking for clog dancing or some kind of dancing to go with it because it's such. Austin Bede did this amazing drum beat on it,
Mm-hmm.
drum treatment on it, and so I'm talking to a video guy, and he says, "Well, what do you want on this? Like I'm looking at clog dancers videos and stuff, and you just somebody in a t-shirt and jeans and a square board on the lawn, just boring."
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking through and I go, well, so what I would want is like the best clog dancing video on the internet. And I literally typed that in as I was talking to him. And David Hoffman's 1964 video comes up and it's playing. And I put my song on and turned his volume down and mine up and no adjustment at all. It just matched. And so when I talked to
Wow.
David Hoffman and said, can I use this? He said, did you write the song for my video? I said, no, it's just like this two did this.
Mm-hmm.
And the White Buffalo had already used the song once and he paid whatever he paid. And then since I was the second user, third user, I didn't have to pay nearly as much for the licensing. and the video just came out. It is a kick-ass video.
Great.
It's
All
so
right.
fun.
Well, is that going to be on your website?
That's up already. That's
Is
up.
it? Okay, I'll have to see if I can find that. All right. Well, thanks
I'll
again,
send you a
David.
link to it so you can include it.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful, so that people can check that out as well. Well, thank you, David Petry, for chatting with us today on Casey Cafe Radio. And
Thanks
the name of the
for having
album again is Rescue Me by The Great Get Gone. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great afternoon.